Hey everybody, I'm Erika Heald, your content chat host, and today I'm coming to you pre-recorded live stream on LinkedIn because my guest Pam Didner, the two of us are at Content Marketing World right now, and you probably have terrible FOMO if you're not right there with us. Um, so Pam, it's so great to see you, and I'm so excited that you're going to be sharing some insights from your two new books. 'Cause Pam's an overachiever. You want to flash your books because pretty cool.
I would love to. Hello, everyone. Oh, right here. Okay. The two books right here. The Modern AI Marketer series. One is in the GPT era. The other one is basically guide to a Gen AI prompt. This is the AI prompt book, like over 75 prompts that you can use in 12 sales and marketing category. This is just basically give you a little overview about what AI is and how can you scale AI within your marketing organization. Again, you can literally read this while binge watching Netflix. I promise you.
I love it. And you can read it on the airplane going to your next conference.
That's true. That's true.
Also. So let's just start with with kind of the premise of the first book, which, how is AI driving business value for marketers? What's going on? What do people need to know at a kernel? Why should they care? Why can't they just say, "Oh, I'm never using AI," and back away from it slowly?
That's actually a great point in terms of, I think the driving business value is looking at probably the efficiency gain. And Erika, you can tell me this, like AI can help us in terms of writing blog posts. AI can help us writing social media copy. AI can even generate images. So if you are looking a lot of the content creation part of it, that AI can actually do some of the writings for you, also create the images, or even send it and even tell you the optimal times that you can post. The business value from my perspective come from three different perspectives. One is can you measure the efficiency gain? The second thing is, can you measure the AI? Do they actually impact your revenue? And the third, can they actually impact whatever AI tools that you use? Can that reduce cost? So look into these three things and determine in terms of what AI can provide value. And another question that you ask is, why do they need to start using it now? AI is here to stay.
Yep.
I hate saying this, it's not going away. It's not like some very novice technology, and because it's actually very useful. And think about it, when ChatGPT was launched, Erika, back then in November 30th, 2022, within 5 days, they reached 1 million users. Why can they accelerate it so much? Is because when people asking ChatGPT a specific questions, it provides one tailored answer based on your question.
Yeah.
Everybody are blown away by that, and a lot of those answers are pretty legit. You look at on surface, you're like, oh my god, that answer is pretty good. Yeah. So
Yeah,
you need
especially
to
when you're
somehow.
looking for it to summarize a complex document, or you're looking for, a pretty complex theory or something, you could ask it to give you a super simple, summary, and it
Explanation.
would, and you'd be like, I get
Yeah,
it. I get it
yeah,
now. I read so many
exactly.
other things and now I get it. So
Yeah.
it is pretty unprecedented. And I feel like, we have so many ways within marketing that we're able to use it to map back up to those three value drivers. I know
Yep.
my favorite use case is around brand voice
Mhm.
because it's so frequently, if you have that defined brand voice, you're able then to use AI to ensure that everything everywhere reflects the brand voice. Like you can actually use AI to make sure that when it's giving prompts to like your customer service reps when they're doing phone consultations, that it'll give them, it'll take what they put in and give them a brand appropriate response in, the same way you can do the same thing with chatbots and all of that too. So it's like for me, it's the way to have that consistency of message and voice which, as a writer, I'm really good at applying a specific brand voice. I do it all the time, but I know it's really hard for a lot of folks, especially for people who don't consider themselves to be writers. Like, how on earth am I supposed to sound like the company instead of me? Well, AI, you can write something and say, hey, here's our brand voice chart. Can you help me revise this? And it will do it for you. So, that's one of my favorite use cases.
I love it. So is you want to make sure whatever the content you created is on brand.
Yeah.
And I think that's very important, especially for enterprise clients, that because they create a lot of content, and a lot of say agencies or internal people, even the freelancers, are creating content for them. So they want
Yeah.
to make sure they have a sense of consistency in terms of a tone and manner. And um, on brand, or even have to reflect that brain voice from your perspective. And I totally agree with you. It's super important. And for me specifically, the one couple of my favorite usage is rewrite. I will write something, write a paragraph. If I like it, I kind of let it go. If I don't like it, I will ask AI to give me a couple of rewrite options. And again, that comes back. Does that reflect my voice, my person, my personal style? So one thing I always advise my clients, or even during any workshop, is AI can give you answers. Okay, but you are the one need to make the decision. Is this answer appropriate or makes sense for you? Like they will write 3 or 4 option in terms of the brain voice. And Erica, based on your understanding of your client's brand,
Yeah.
and also the products they are selling, and the past content they have created, even with the 3 or 4 options of the AI written examples they created, you have to make a decision which one makes sense.
Or you
So,
might take something from each one of them. I mean,
and
frequently I use
the
that kind
rewrite,
of stuff as
yes.
the idea starter, because then you're like, hey, I really like this. And if I combine these two, and then you put it all together and you're like, hey, now this is too long. So hey, AI, can you help me? Can you help me make this? Can you help me summarize this and make it more clear? And then all of a sudden you have something that is this great collaboration between you and the AI.
I 100% agree with you. I do. I usually try to write stuff on my own, and then if I like it, like I said, I was like, fine. If I don't, I usually ask AI to do a rewrite, and I would check and see if I like that. But I have never, and Erica, you can. I would like to get your opinion on this.
Yeah.
Like for writing this book, I really want AI to write it. Okay, I'm a lazy bum. I'm the first one to tell you that. Originally, when I created this, I was like, I got a table of contents. I understand each chapters. I also have a bullet points for each chapter. I also have objective for each bullet points. The sub chapters. And I was like, I want AI to write it. In fact, I'm not even shame to even say that this is created by AI. No kidding. So when I started writing this book, I really want AI to take all the credit. And I even worked with a programmer for 3 or 4 days and try to get my content. And I even wrote a script that to actually read all my blog posts in on pamdinner.com, so
Yeah.
they can learn my brain voice. And on top of it, I gave a very detailed table of contents and also sub chapters, and I gave enough information. I want them to write like 21,000 words book. After 4 days, I declare I failed. It can't. It can't do a section or even a certain length of a blog post. But I have
Yep.
not been very successful. And I would like to hear your point of view to create like a nice ebook or even nice book. What is your
Yep.
thought on that? Have you have a good experience?
I've had a similar experience to yours because obviously I do content chat every single week,
Yep.
and I've done it now for 7 years. So, it wasn't
You
always
go,
easy.
girl.
So there's a lot of content that I own.
Yeah.
And I've pointed AI at some of those transcripts, and
Yeah.
even just pointing it at some of those transcripts and saying, write me a blog post from this that reflects my content from it. It doesn't. It
It
gets
doesn't. It
confused.
doesn't get confused.
It doesn't sound like me.
Yep.
It sounds actually usually really formal, which anybody who's read my writing, it's a lot of things. Formal is not one of them. I'm someone
Yeah.
who uses the M dash a lot. You know, my
Mhm.
writing is
Mhm.
not rigid and formal at all. And I use colorful words because I'm a Gen Xer who lives in Northern California, and it comes across in my office, it comes across in my writing.
Yeah.
So yeah, it is really interesting because on the one hand, you can go to like Perplexity and you can ask it who I am and what do I do, and
Yeah.
it knows and it does a good job of explaining it. But if you said, okay, write me a blog post from Erika Heald about brand voice, even though there's so much content about that, it
Yeah.
wouldn't sound like I wrote it. You'd look at it and you'd know it wasn't me.
I totally agree. So, like I said, I tried, and then I was like,
That's a good thing to do though, just to see the
God, I was
limitations.
so sad. You did not know how sad I was. You'd be like, "Do I really have to write it now? This is not going well. I'm really looking for the shortcut." And I still think come down to the like more than 10,000, not actually more than 5,000 words. I don't think AI can really pull it off just yet.
Yeah,
But maybe in the future because they are learning fast, and but so far for these two books, I did it on my own, actually with a copy editor. This is
yeah,
going back and forth and back and forth and back and forth. But when I read the we actually have AI created probably 5 or 6 different drafts, and I read them. They are very flowery. The sentence sounds very pompous, but when you read them together, there's no substance. As a
mm,
writer, you know exactly what I'm talking about. There's
yep,
no
it feels super fluffy,
fluffy. Yep.
like they're
So
being paid by the word. Mhm, those were the days.
oh my god. And like I said, yeah. And then I turn out just it's a human writing, unfortunately. Yeah.
Well, that said, what do you feel like, AI does really well for marketing? Like, what would be if you were telling a marketer, like, what use case they really what use case or use cases they should focus on first to start, to get started with it?
Okay. So Erica, you're going to agree with me on this. I think AI can do so many marketing jobs. If you ask AI SEO questions, you know what?
Mhm.
Great answer. If you are a campaign manager, you want to create ideate campaign, AI can do that. If you are actually event manager and you want to create kind of like pre-event invitations, AI can do that. And the AI can do so many things depending on what kind of marketing jobs you want AI to do,
Yep.
right? So that is one thing that everybody just need to understand, that AI can wear multiple hats, right? So but the thing is, there are prerequisites that needs to happen before AI can do a great job for you. You still need to tell AI who your audience is.
Yep.
You still need to tell the AI why they need to write something. What is objective? You still need to tell AI your products, your services. You still need to tell AI what's the call to action. So anything that you are telling AI to do, AI possibly can do it for you to some extent. But you are the one needs to brief or writing the prompts to actually tell AI what to do, and you still need to guide them.
Yep.
So I think AI can actually write strategy. I actually have AI writing strategy for me, and I was like, oh, this is actually pretty good. But I will not take it blindly. I will still modify it because I have knowledge about this, my products, my services, my offering. I have a knowledge about me, what I offer. So I need to modify it. So that is where human comes in. So don't underestimate your own knowledge, your own expertise, and also don't overlook in terms of how much you need to brief AI or writing your prompts in a very thorough way in order to get the best out of it.
Yeah, I'm totally there with you because I have long been advocating for the fact that you have to have all of those, defined and documented governance elements in place that you
Yeah.
then give to the AI, and then you treat the AI like an intern. They're smart, they're
Yes.
capable, they're excited, but they still need to understand all this context. They don't have your human experience in the job. They're new. So you have
Yep.
to treat them like they're new.
Yep. It's kind of like we are saying the similar things. You are like treating like intern, or the way I see it, like you have to, when you work with the freelancers, when you work with the external agencies, you have to brief them well, right?
Yep.
So you can get the best and the most out of them. But you have to do that prep job before they can do their jobs. Same thing. That same thing applies to AI. Before you can work with AI, you have to prep AI, right?
So let's shift a little bit and talk about sales, because one of the things that is really unique about you is that you do a lot of work with sales teams and around the alignment between sales and marketing. And
Mhm.
I have shared amongst friends over the past week several really terrible, poorly targeted emails I've received that clearly show a lack of having done any research or using any kind of an AI tool to talk to me in a manner that I would be receptive to or that recognizes the value in my business. Literally, the day that I had Andy Crestodina on Content Chat, I received an email from some person who said, "Oh, has your LinkedIn gone out or something?" And then they went on to say, "Oh, I noticed your latest Content Chat post just didn't perform very well," and just going on and on, nagging me to try to sell their services. And this was, of course, services from somebody who is not on LinkedIn and whose company is not on LinkedIn, trying to tell me how to LinkedIn and giving and trying to tell me that my chat with Andy Crestodina was unsuccessful. I'm like, You are barking up the wrong tree with all the wrong information." So, how can you help salespeople? How can AI help salespeople not be screenshot by me and used in presentations as examples of what not to do?
On the sales side, it often depends on how salespeople operate. And I know a lot of salespeople are very savvy and they tailor their outreach for the potential prospects they want to reach to, and they will do homework. And I have a feeling, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, that the person who reach out to you, I don't think they even do their homework,
Yeah.
and they kind of pull information, the bits and pieces from different places, and it's kind of like intent data, without
Yep.
really studying the intent data, but you pull the information from different places. Oh my god, this person has come to my website like 7 times and consumed like 40 pieces of content, therefore this person might be interested, right? So but and then that piece of information in terms of being to your website 7 times, 1 in 10, consume 40 pieces of content, second intent. Oh, because I have those information, therefore let's pull this information, create automatic email and send out.
Yep.
I The more I'm in the marketing business, the more I feel that the automation part of it need to scale back a little bit.
Yeah.
Do you know where I'm coming from?
I do because I get 5 emails a week saying that, we can get you 100 leads a month. What would I do with 100
Right?
leads a month as one human being?
Yeah.
Horrifying. I don't want 40 meetings in a month. That's my
So
nightmare.
I personally think that there's a lot of automation that has been done, which is the right things to do, I guess, because of the explosion of internet, and that they created so many way to reach potential prospects. And I guess in the martech arena, they encourage people to scale, to standardize, and also to automate. So that was a direction in terms of what marketing or a trend has been going in the past 20 years. In fact, I'm one of the culprit. I always say standardize, automate, and scale. But I'm to the point, I feel that all that is not necessarily helping the prospects you want to reach out. Especially in the B2B world, the purchasing cycles is very, very long.
Yeah.
And I think that tailor and also personalizations become a whole lot more important. Granted, that takes a lot of time. You have to do some research, you have to look into information, you have to study the intent data to determine what to write.
Yeah.
I think now, and the direction I think to go is, how can you use AI to actually help you on personalization, but not in a standardized type of format that piss you off.
Yeah.
And I think moving forward, all of us will struggle with that for a while. And I don't know what the outcome will be. The only thing I know is people are craving for that more tailored and personalized outreach, and that requires salespeople to do a whole lot more homework. And a lot of salespeople is like, "Oh my god, this is so much to do."
Every time I get an email or a DM on LinkedIn where somebody is reacting to something I said in content chat, for example, and not just like, "Oh, you were so great on content chat," but somebody actually responding to my content, I always reply to them. And of
Yeah,
course, then I also look at, well, what company do they work for? So
exactly.
honestly, it's like engaging me in a real conversation, trying to build a relationship with me works. But
Yeah,
sending me the same spam that you send everyone else doesn't.
doesn't
And I
work.
know, it can feel hard because it's like, "Oh, well, we don't have the right data or our systems don't talk to each other." But at this point, AI, I feel like, is gonna be really helpful. So let's talk a little bit about the data. How do you know that you have the right data or the clean data or if you're messed up? So that way, again, it's hard
It's
because
very hard, yeah. So in my book, I did talk about one of the chapters. I talk about the importance of data, and um, it's actually important for all of us who are doing marketing. Like, we want to understand the touch points from our prospects. We want to understand the people who actually come to our website. Who are they, and possibly why they come and what they are searching for. And all those are just data points that will give us a clue in terms of what we can do to further engage with them.
yeah,
And because data is so important, the accuracy and correctness of data is critical. But how many of us, me included, can stand up and say, like, "Oh, my data is very clean"? And also, data has data decay. Like, basically, there is a research that has been done that if you don't clean up your data, there is a certain percentage of data decay every single quarter, because people move around, right?
yeah,
People don't stay in the same jobs, or people abandon their personal email address, they use another one. And so the data needs to be updated and checked or enriched on regular basis. And so for big enterprises, I always suggest that you need to kind of correlate your data with data enrichment tools. Or you can look at bounce rates. Like, for example, like I said in my CIM, if the email bounce, automatically deleted. So it's no longer like in my CRM database. So it's one way of keep my data clean.
yeah,
And then the other one is, you ask, like, why is data important? That's because if the data is not clean and then using the data to make a decision, then you will end up making the wrong decision. That's the biggest risk. And most of the marketers, and I don't know about you, I work for myself, so I have my own database. But
yeah,
how often do I go and clean the database? I don't have the budget to actually do data enrichment, data clean.
yeah,
So a lot of time I will ask my subscriber, to not necessarily update their information. I will ask them to kind of update their email addresses as they see fit,
yeah,
or create some sort of question to get additional information.
yeah.
So the data is going to be a major topic, I would say, next 5-10 years. Especially we use AI more, then you need to use data to actually guide AI to do certain kind of marketing work.
And I think that's where providing valuable things like assessments on your site and
Yeah.
giving people the ability to append that data to your database and be used to tailor content, things like that, I think that becomes a really valuable use case because that way people are getting something from you, which is the assessment of like their marketing maturity or whatever that thing is that by them taking the time to fill out that survey they receive. And then
Yeah.
you're getting all of that great data from them
Data.
that then you
Yeah.
can use to make, better decisions.
Personal, yeah, or personalized outreach. Yeah.
Totally. And, like many marketers, I'm a childless cat lady here, and this cat has come in and he has taken over the screen. He was jealous
Oh,
of Kupo, I think.
funny. Oh, I'm cracking
So
up.
what's interesting to me is now we're in a situation where we have, kind of the two camps of marketers. The AI is going to steal our jobs, marketers who are hopeless, and then the folks who are like, it's fantastic, it's the future, and then off on a completely different island are the non-adopters, and we're not going to address them because that's a whole different can of worms, and bless them if they're able to find a way forward, ignoring AI. But in general, I feel like so many people, when I ask them what prompts they've used to do something, like when they say, "Oh, AI is so great for this," or when they say, "Oh, I tried to do whatever their use case is, and it just, I didn't get anything useful." When I ask them about their prompts, frequently they can't even really tell me what it is that they did. A lot of times,
Mhm.
it seems that they kind of do a lot of rabbit holing and back and forth because they haven't spent time thinking through their prompts. So I'm wondering, in your work and talking with folks to create this book, what you found that too often marketers are doing that's kind of torpedoing their prompts.
So Erica, you bought both my books, and I just want to say thank you so much.
My pleasure.
And the second book I wrote is really about AI prompting, and this is very much kind of very niche sales and marketing prompts in 12 categories, if you will. And the way I write a lot of those prompts is it's be very specific in terms of your asks. I am researching SEO keywords for my organization, which specialize in this type of products and services. And we target for this type of customers and with this specific types of demographics. Our client target keywords include blah, 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 blah. So provide me a list number, provide a list number of additional high volume keyword list with low competition and relevant to my products and services. Do you see that whole
Yeah.
statement? Right? How specific I am.
As opposed to
I
saying, "Hey, I am a marketing consultant. What keywords should I target?"
Right. Yeah, exactly. So I'm very specific. I even give them a list of the keywords I am using now. Then I
Yep.
said I want additional keywords, not only additional keywords, the keyword with low competition at
Mhm.
the same time relevant to my products and services. So I'm very specific. When you write a lot of the prompts, that's how specific you need to be. But that comes down to the point you said about governance. You need to know your stuff.
Yep.
If you don't, then you cannot get the most out of AI, right?
Exactly. Because
So
what's so great is the AI has the ability to synthesize the vast amounts of information. So you can have it go read like all the latest research on whatever your industry is or whatever your topic is. And, it can look at that and it can, internalize that. But you have to point it in that direction. It doesn't know what's in your head.
that's totally right. So the thing about all the prompts I have written in this specific book, it's that specific. So I provide a very specific examples for you to copy and paste, and then tailor it for your need. And I made it very clear in the very beginning. I say, don't take any of these examples and run with them as is.
Yep.
So you need to take what I have and then modify it. And then one of the person who read this book and basically said those prompts are very good if you also tailor for specific industries. So if you want to change my prompts to tailor for specific verticals, you know what? She's right. It's actually very helpful.
Yeah.
So you need to kind of think it through and then change and modify as you see fit.
And that's all about getting to like know, the people you're selling to, your audience for your content, those buyer personas. You're never going to get away from needing buyer personas. You're always going to need to understand what can you do with your content? What can you do with your marketing that will actually help other people?
Mm-hmm.
Because nobody
That's right.
cares about you wanting to sell them a thing. They care about what you can do for them, how you make
That's
their life better.
always talking from customer's perspective. Yep. In the context of your products and services, you'll bring that in, but still needs to come from the pain points. Yep.
So, my last question for you
Sure.
is through the process of creating this book and, having early readers and getting now all the feedback once it's been published, what was the thing that you were most surprised about when it comes to, things that people, their takeaways or the things that they found to be really valuable that you wouldn't have expected to have been their aha moments?
So it depends on who is reading it. Like you, Erica, you're such an advanced user. So a lot of stuff that I say, you go, it makes sense. And for some of my friends or even clients who are reading it, especially on the prompt books, they were like, "Oh, I didn't know I can write prompt that way." So that was one of the aha moments. And then the other one that was kind of interesting is the history. So one chapter, especially the beginning of chapter one, I'm talking about the AI history. So that part of it tend to be enjoyed by a lot of people. It was like, oh, I didn't know about the history. You know how everything is related to
I don't know about Big Blue.
different
People just
timelines.
think of IBM as this big,
Yeah,
consulting.
exactly. It was like AID Blue or autonomous cars. But I talk about the history a little bit more, and it was like, okay, yeah, and now I understand where we are. And the other thing, I think, kind of every the people that was a little bit ahas for them is how to scale the AI, and there's a multiple way of doing it. And I talking about there is a simple way of doing it to the more complex way, and I divide it into 4 different approaches. They kind of found that useful as well. So yeah, but this is kind of like, Erica, would you agree? This is like get to the point. I did not have a lot of setup. I just get to the point.
You get to the point, and that's the thing is people don't have time to read a college level textbook on this. You need to know what's practical to you as a marketer, to make this work because we all needed to start on this yesterday. We do not have the time or the luxury, right? Of really, waiting and seeing and doing all this. We got to get started. And I feel like these books are great because you have the one book that's really the overview for folks who are overseeing marketing teams and needing to understand how you can really, amplify your business results by using AI and still giving them a taste of what it actually looks like on a practical level of the
Mhm.
prompting, because that again, it shows them, oh, right, we do need to have the right data to inform even our prompts. We do need to have that understanding of what matters to our people and how we are different from our competitors. So I feel like having that included in the more overview book is helpful, but then having the ability to expand and have so many different use cases and
Yeah,
prompt examples really helps people see kind of the wide variety of things that they can actually use generative AI for today
yeah,
without worrying or stressing about exposing internal data. There's so many things you can do now just to get that proof of concept in place to then
Yeah.
take to your manager or take to your IT team and say, hey, I really think we need to invest in getting this internally in order to, to improve what we're doing. And then, from there, it's all about the putting, your AI use policy in case, putting all that kind of stuff out there. But I just feel like your books are going to be so helpful to people who are really, who are struggling and who don't have the time to go and poke at it, or who don't have the ability to pigeonhole a Christopher Penn at a conference and ask him your,
The
really
specific
weedy
questions. Yeah,
questions.
exactly. So the thing is, these two books, you can jump around and you don't have to read from page 1 to page like a 100. Jump around and, like just kind of take a look and see what fancies you, honestly. And it was very interesting. I was talking to a marketer, and then she was reading this. This is only 50 pages. It's not very long. So originally, when I completed, I was like, 50 pages. Should I call a book? They probably doesn't sound like a book. It's only 50 pages. Then after my friend finished reading, she was like, 50 pages is perfect. That's it. Don't do more than that. I was like, okay. Originally, I want to do like 100 AI prompts because I only
But
have
that would be
about.
overwhelming. People
I
would
think so too.
they'd get discouraged. Whereas it is the right amount because it's like if you were having a workbook,
Yeah, this
that
is a
is how
workbook.
many you would have. It's a
Yeah,
workbook.
this is a
And
workbook. You kind of
totally.
like just check, yeah, and say, okay, this is how I'm going to write the strategy planning. This is how I'm going to write like the image creation and that kind of thing. So yeah, and I am very happy I didn't make it longer. Honestly, before I kind of really want to. You know how we writers are? We were like, okay, let's keep it going.
Bigger and better.
Yeah.
But, I'm a fan of having some of these things be in airplane read. I mean, there's a reason that, in our parents' age, they got those Reader's Digest condensed books. I remember my mom had some of those, and I was always like, why? What? Because I'm a reader. I love books. But on the flip side, it's like, because sometimes people don't want the like 3 pages in The Hobbit about the trees. All right. They don't want
Yeah,
3 pages
that's
about
true.
trees in the forests. So I love it. Where can folks
Thank
find
you.
your books?
Amazon. Just to go to Amazon, you can type my name, Pam Didner, or you can just type Modern AI Marketer, and the two books will pop up. And hopefully you will find it interesting. And like I said, any specific feedback and questions, you can reach out to me on pamdinner.com. I love to hear from you. And if you like or even dislike the book, feel free to comment and leave reviews. I would like to see them. So.
Love it. Well, thank you so much for giving us a little bit of a preview of your books and for hopefully giving people some ideas for how they can kind of dive in and start putting AI to use within their marketing work.
Yay! Thank you so much for having me, Erika.
My
Always.
pleasure, always. All right, and everybody, we'll catch you again next week for Content Chat. Bye, everyone.
Yeah. Bye bye.